Alright folks, so this video can be considered extremely controversial to many of my viewers. I have to give you guys a trigger warning at the start of the video. But I just want to make something clear. I'm 100% serious, right? I want to follow up on the topic of interracial dating. Seems to be like a very hot topic. And I want to tell you guys why so many white men are obsessed with Asian women, and also why black women are the least likely to be chosen. Well, there are many factors to be considered. So let's talk about this, right? The BBC effect. And if you're wondering what is the BBC effect, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's the thing, right? A lot of white men, I would say over 90%, I've observed this in Canada. If they know that a white girl has been basically drilled by a black guy, and he won't go anywhere near her. That's why you have the saying, right? Once you go black, you never go back, or once you go black, you're a single mom. No, I'm serious. A lot of white guys, they have some kind of voodoo stuff about this. I don't know if it's the same for Chinese guys or Indian guys, if they find out a Chinese girl or Indian girl has been, with a black guy. But if a white guy finds out about that, it's like a taboo for them. They will never, ever go near that white girl ever again. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. This is like a white man's worst fear. It's weird, man. It's like a white man's greatest fantasy and also their worst nightmare. Let's face it, who is most likely to watch these girls like Lana Rose or Riley Matthews or Mia Makova, right? Who's most likely to watch these girls get drilled by black guys? It's white guys who are mostly watching these videos, so they have some kind of a fantasy or some kind of a fetish. But sometimes after they have their post-nut clarity. They think about, oh my god, what the hell did I just watch? No, I'm 100% serious. That's almost every single white man's worst nightmare. If they see a beautiful, innocent little white girl that's blonde hair, blue eyes, and they turn out to be a snow bunny, they have a black man's arm wrapped around them. That's their worst nightmare. So this is also one of the many contributing factors to why so many white men they want to choose Asian women, because they know most Asians they have a extreme form of discrimination and racism towards black people. So they realize something. They say, oh, if I choose an Asian girl, there's a 99% chance that she has never ever been with a black guy. So that's gonna be okay. Maybe she has a couple of exes that are white Canadian or white American. That's okay with me, as long as she hasn't touched a black guy. A lot of white guys they have nightmares about this. They don't want to end up with a girl and finding out that 2 years ago she used to hook up regularly with a black guy. A great example I can give to you guys is Pearl Davis. Right, she's, how old is she now? 27, 28, and Pearl Davis, many people call her the female Andrew Tate, right? You want to know why Pearl Davis, even though she talks about woman's biological clock and half the women won't get married, she talks about these black pill, these red pill, blue pill, whatever you want to call it, right? Why is she still single? Well, Pearl Davis, she used to date a black guy. That's why none of the white guys want her, I'm telling you. And I believe she used to date a basketball player. He was big too. Was he like 6'3", maybe possibly 6'4" or 6'5"? So once white guys find out about that kind of stuff, they realize this white girl, you've been with a 6'4" black guy that's the captain of the basketball team. None of them would ever approach you ever again for the rest of your life. That is like the BBC voodoo curse or whatever. So this is one of the many contributing factors, right? I'm just saying it. I'm probably one of the only people that's willing to acknowledge this, but this is 100% true. But honestly, if I were to put in the situation, let's say I went on a date with a Chinese girl and she told me that she used to date a black guy, a 6'5" black athlete that was the captain of the basketball team, or he played the tight end on the football team, then probably, I probably wouldn't end up dating that Chinese girl either. I'm sorry to say, but it's just one of those things. It's just extremely weird. Also, people are going to judge you. They're going to say, oh, dude, your girl used to get drilled by the BBC every single day, right? And I think that is going to bother a lot of people. And also, one thing I like to mention, right? A lot of people, especially white men, you're the worst at this. You're absolute hypocrites, because if you look at the worldwide, I'm not talking about necessarily America, but look at worldwide. Look at the number of passport bros living in Southeast Asia, right? In Thailand, in Cambodia, in Philippines, in Vietnam, and also some are going to China, Japan, or South Korea, and so many are going to like Mexico, Costa Rica, Honduras, and they're going to Brazil, rest of Latin America. So there are tens of millions of white men around the world that are passport bros. So you love to sleep with non-white women worldwide. Yes, there are also some white men who choose black women as well, even though it's not as popular, but certainly they do exist, right? Candace Owens is married to a white man. I find that to be quite interesting. I think that's quite hypocritical of Candace Owens. Nevertheless, right? However, every time if a white guy sees a white girl with either a black man or a Latin man or an Asian man or Indian man or a Middle Eastern man, he absolutely loses his mind, especially if the girl is decent looking. Just imagine this. Let's say a Scarlett Johansson. Let's say if I find out tomorrow that LeBron James was dating a Scarlett Johansson, right? 90% of the white dudes, they will absolutely lose their mind, right? They want to become passport bros. They want to basically drill all of these Asian women, all the Indian women, all the Latin women, all the black women. But as soon as they see a non-white guy with a solid white girl, they absolutely loses their mind. And maybe it's not as bad if it's let's say a Mexican guy or a Chinese guy, especially if it's a black guy, especially if the guy is super tall and muscular, like NBA, NFL player. If they see that guy with a beautiful white snow bunny, they lose their mind. I'm just saying, you guys are hypocrites because there are millions of white guys around the world that's becoming passport bros. You guys got some weird obsession, especially with Asian women. And also one of the many things to consider, yes, there are biological differences between the different ethnicities. You cannot deny that. And yes, you can look at various studies, right? The reason why, black women are unpopular and Asian women are most likely to be chosen. Well, look at the testosterone levels. Once again, I'm talking about on average, right? Understand, obviously, there are Chinese guys who are 6'5" and 275 pounds. They're absolutely ripped. And there are black guys who are, 5'3", who are just extremely skinny with no muscles. But once again, this is on average. So on average, right, the ethnicity, right, the race with the most testosterone, it's black people. Just, look at the NBA, look at the NFL. You watch the Olympics, look at the track and field athletes, right? Many people think that maybe just Chinese people are just not into sports, are lazy. Well, I can tell you this, growing up in China, listen, the most popular sport in China, what do you guys think it is? It's soccer. Everybody plays soccer. I played soccer every day while growing up. Everybody played basketball. Basketball is probably the second most popular sport. You got 1.4 billion people in China. How many Chinese guys are in the NBA? How many Chinese guys are in the English Premier League? How many are in the La Liga? How many are playing in France or Italy? There's none. I honestly don't think there's any professional Chinese soccer player. Well, not in the top tier league anyways. Only in the bottom of the barrel garbage leagues. China obviously has an excess male issue. So there's probably something like 720 million, 730 million men. But almost none of them can make it to professional athlete status. It's because this is, once again, on average, right? So the testosterone levels, it goes from black, then usually white, Latin, the Middle Eastern, Arab, then the Asian and Indian on average have the lowest level of testosterone. And if you have extremely low level of testosterone, you're not going to excel at sports. I'm sorry to say, that's just the reality, right? Like, just look at the track and field athletes in the Olympics. There are virtually no Asians or Indians, despite the fact that, we have the highest population. But you see, testosterone, it's a double-edged sword, right? Definitely better for black male. That means that you're likely to be bigger, you're likely to have a higher bone density, you're likely to have more muscles. That means better chances of becoming a pro athlete one day, right? But generally speaking, this is not good for black women, because what happens when a woman is pumped full of testosterone, well, she's going to be extremely masculine. She's going to want to act like an alpha. She's going to act like a dude, and that is going to be the number one turnoff for any man. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? I think there are very, very few men that's willing to date, let's say, a black WNBA player that's 6'5" and 230 pounds. So testosterone is probably the number one turnoff for men when they're looking for a female partner. And also, when a woman's pumped full of testosterone, she's going to be extremely hormonal and masculine. And that's where you get the phrase, right? The white woman who's full of testosterone, they're known as Karen. And for African Americans, they have a different name. They call them Keisha. That's why a lot of these black men, they try to avoid black women. You see them posting these videos on YouTube, say, why are black women so angry? Well, I'm sorry to say, it's just one of those things. You can look up the studies, because on average, once again, black people have the highest level of testosterone. And Indians and Asians have the lowest levels of testosterone. That's why most Asian men do not grow very tall. Their frame is generally on average a lot smaller, because they're lacking the testosterone. But you see, this is where it comes in handy for an Asian woman, because, when a woman does not have a single ounce of testosterone, that means that she's going to be very feminine for the most part. And that's probably one of the most important attributes men are looking for when they're looking for a woman to date and marry, because they don't want to come home to a woman that's going to want to bitch and argue all the time. They want to come home from work one day and their Asian wife is going to be at home saying that, oh, honey, you're back home from work, dinner's ready on the table, and how was your day? And they're looking for that type of woman. So basically, testosterone, it's a blessing for men, it's a curse for women. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm just telling you guys the reality. And also, like the testosterone thing, and regarding Asian men, right? You guys want to know what's the ethnicity that's most popular on gay dating apps, for example, like Grindr? It's Asian men. No, I'm serious. It's because generally speaking, right, if a man is lacking testosterone, let's say if he has high levels of estrogen, that guy is going to look gay. I'm sorry to say, this is like a curse for Asian men. This is why Asian women are so desired up here. This is why Asian men are at the bottom. If you watch some, I'm not talking about Western drama, go watch some Korean drama or Chinese drama, right? Go watch a few episodes of it. You'll notice basically the Chinese actors and actresses, they're being picked. So that's their beauty standard, right? Whoever gets picked in these Chinese dramas, that's considered to be a hot guy in China, right? A lot of times when I watch these Chinese drama, I'm sorry to say, when I see a lot of these popular Chinese actors, a lot of them do look gay to me. I think this is what happens when you're lacking testosterone, because it does make you look very, very feminine. That's why Asian guys are also very, very popular on gay dating apps like Grindr. But if you're wondering how come you guys never see a black guy with, let's say, a Chinese guy, like a gay couple, it's almost always either there are 2 white guys or 2 black guys or 2 Asian guys, and possibly sometimes you see white and Asian, or sometimes you see white and black. You almost never see a gay black guy with a gay Asian guy. Well, I've asked some Chinese people, right, because LGBTQ is illegal in China, so some of these people, to avoid prosecution, I've asked these gay Chinese guys these questions. Asked them, how come you don't choose a black guy? Well, honestly, this is what they told me. They told me because of the BBC. They said that black guys, they have too much length and girth, and it hurts way too much. That's why they refuse to swipe right on black guys on Grindr. I'm just saying, like a lot of gay Chinese guys, when I asked them, they have told me this. I'm just saying, okay, I'm just saying this is what they told me. Just one final note. This video is going to get me into a lot of trouble and controversy, but a woman's creamy caboose, right? But now you can look up the studies on this. I'm telling you, a lot of white men in Canada, they got some weird fetish, right? I don't care. You date whoever you want to date. You marry whoever you want to marry. But there's a significant percentage of white men in Canada. Sometimes, let's say if they're going on the date, right? And if they find out that it's a white girl, they won't even go on the date. They won't even touch or even talk to white women. They will only have sex with Asian women. They will only date with Asian women. They will only want to marry Asian women. And I'm telling you, there's possibly the obsession with the creamy caboose. If you're wondering what the hell's the creamy caboose, you should look it up. I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But once again, Asian women, they have the lowest level of testosterone, and this is 100% correlated. Generally speaking, right, the more testosterone you have, that means that the looser your creamy caboose is going to be. And generally speaking, the lower your testosterone level is, that means that the tighter your creamy caboose is going to be. And, I'm just saying, right? A lot of men do prefer women to have a tighter, creamy caboose. And I just mentioned, right? You can look up the testosterone levels by ethnicity. Asians, on average, once again, have the lowest level of testosterone. Okay, I'm just telling you, there are biological differences between the races. Okay, you will never, ever see a Chinese LeBron James or a Chinese Shaquille O'Neal, because Asians simply cannot just grow to that size. And I believe this is one of the many contributing factors to why so many white men, heck, even black men or Latin men, they have the yellow fever. It's just due to the natural low testosterone levels in the Asian woman. And also, they realize that the Asian girl has probably never been with a black guy. Some, crazy voodoo stuff. So thank you guys for staying till the end. I understand this video could be controversial. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys next time.